Ladies and gents, I'm here to talk to you about a 2009 ride, which is 14,000 miles from the very top of Alaska to the very bottom of South America. The ride took 125 days, shaving 15 days off the world record, which I don't think is too shabby for a guy from Fife that still thinks a plate of chips is one of his 5 a day. I want to talk to you a bit about how riding for the record affected me, the pressures of riding specifically to break the world record. To start with, I'll give you a bit of a comparison. I was saying about taking 18 months, but good guy that's here, Mark Bowman, who's speaking a little bit later on, was also riding the Americas at the same time as me. Now, I'm not wanting to get into a dick slinging contest here or anything like that. And any of you that know Mark know that he's a hard rider and he knows what he's doing. He can ride a bike pretty fast. And Mark's trip took 8 months or 9 months, more than double the amount of time. Now, he's going to talk about later. He'll tell you he was doing a bit of hill walking, doing a bit of tweeting, you know. I even heard that he'd become the first cyclist to get a saddle sore from sitting on a bar stool too much. But either way, the point I'm trying to make is if a guy as hard as Mark is taking 9 months to do it, that should give you an idea of the tempo that I was having to ride at. And the reason I was having to ride at such a tempo was the previous record, set at 140 days by an Italian cyclist back in the year 2000. Now, this guy had a full support team. He had a camper van, he had a mechanic, a chef, he had all that sort of caper going on. Now, this was a self-funded trip, so I could barely afford a pair of socks, as you can see. But nevertheless, for some reason, and I still can't explain it to this day, I just thought, 140 days, I think I can have that. And from that point on, it sort of built and built. Through my training, building and building, to the point where I reached Alaska on the start line. Breaking the record was everything. I was completely and utterly gripped. It went from being something that I wanted to do to being something that I needed to do, absolutely, without question. And this kind of outlook sort of fired me out of the blocks, and I sort of shot down through Alaska into Canada. Everyone was going well. A couple of days ahead of record pace, all good. But then I started noticing that my behaviour was becoming a little bit strange. You know, people were getting barged out of the way in supermarkets. You know, anyone that was in the way of the bananas, they were getting the elbow. My dad taught me that. This case in point was when I reached Saskatchewan, a small town, Kenniston, middle of nowhere, Great Plains, farming country. And I think, yeah, good quiet place to hang my head for the night, hang my hat. And I settle in, at the bar, having a meal. The place starts filling up. There's burly farming men coming in from all angles. There's a buzz, you know, there's a bit of an atmosphere going on. The Vegas girls are in town, I'm told. I'm thinking, oh, aye, Vegas girls. Maybe some sort of casino night, something like that. So I hang around a bit, and I'm not going to lie to you, the Vegas girls were strippers. I was as shocked as you are. But I've been on the bike for a few weeks. I deserve a cultural experience, this sort of thing, you know. I think I deserve that. So the Vegas girls are giving it loudies. That's what loudy looks like. And I find myself quite enjoying it. I feel my hand kind of coming around here, going into my pocket for my wallet. Ready to get another drink. And that's when it hits me. It's like, no way, you can't be doing this, Scotty. You're riding for the record here. Off I trotted to my bed. I still can't believe it. I'm cycling down the road the next day. Lycra's a bit tighter than normal. And I'm thinking, man, you've changed. You've changed. And I have changed. I shot down from there, down into Mexico, and probably into the lowest point of the trip for me, where the pressure of the record really started to squeeze on me. It was hot, it was windy, I was having a lot of punctures, I wasn't eating correctly, the traffic was carnage, they were trying to kill me, and somewhere in the planning I'd neglected to learn any Spanish, which was a big issue. Anyway, this all got squeezed. A normal tour, you'd take some time out, it wouldn't be a big deal, but because of the record, the squeeze was on, and I sort of melted down at the side of the road in a bit of a weepy mess. Did what any guy would do, phoned home, not a problem, get on the phone, my dad picks up, my dad's like, Scotty, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's windy. My dad's like, Scotty, speak to me. What's wrong? Everyone speaks Spanish. Sort of snuffling away there at the side of the road. And my dad clearly senses there's trouble here. He brings out the big guns, best piece of advice ever. He turns, well, he's on the phone, he says, Scott, I'll get your mum. Mum comes on the phone, nurses me back onto the bike, and off I went. And it really was fantastic. I said earlier I was solo without a support team, but I'd have been absolutely stuffed without my family and my friends supporting me from home. They really pushed me through, and from that low I rode 79 days straight to break the record. Now, it's sounding a bit whingy at the moment. You know, I've missed out on some strippers. You know, I've had a Mexican meltdown. It's all doom and gloom. But riding for the record, it gave me these lows, but it also gave me much bigger highs. The pressure of going at it every day to my absolute physical and mental limit was a great buzz. I mean, look at the beard that I grew. You just can't get away with that sort of thing in everyday life. But the landscapes as well, sort of riding through the mountains, riding through the wilderness in Alaska, you know, riding with bears and stuff like that. Coming into the desert, you can just roll your mat out and sleep under the stars. All that sort of energized me. Along with that, there was the people that I met as well, in places, unexpected places like Colombia. I'm pretty sure the guys at home had a kitty going for my ransom. I was told, you know, definitely you go there, you're going to get kidnapped. Not at all. These people were taking me in, helping me fix my bike, all sorts of caper like that. And this all built up to the high point of the trip, which was the finish. This is day 125. I look like death, but I have never, ever felt more alive than the morning of day 125. That's some good bread right there. So I've stuffed that in, I've whooshed on down the road, and I'm finished. And it's hard to describe how I felt, but it was just perfect. It was everything that I dreamed of, everything that I'd wanted. It was just the most fantastic thing. I will admit, my arse was a little tender. I felt like I'd gone 12 rounds with Dale Winton, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, that's the trip. Get in touch.